Good evening and hello there. Thank you so much for tuning in to MBCI TV. You're just on time for the program Ask the Ministers of God. Always a pleasure to have you on this particular program where we have 30 minutes of robust discussion and conversation with anointed servants of God, looking at quite a number of subjects, weighty issues, some of them challenging to you as a Christian on matters your faith and also as a human being. And tonight we are delighted. We've also lined up for you a very captivating discussion on family conflicts and rivalry. Where do they emanate from? What was the design of God and also the purpose of God as far as a family is concerned? This is something that we want to look into and give a perspective and also give and shed some more light on the same. And I have a great panel tonight. I want to introduce them so that we can continue with this particular conversation. On set is Apostle Dan Gishimu, our resident minister in this particular show. Karibu sana Apostle, good to have you tonight.
Thank you, Magicho, and welcome viewer to our program tonight.
Thank you so much, Apostle. Looking forward to getting into the nitty-gritties of this conversation, and I believe that will help us understand this particular matter. And also on set, I'm joined by Minister Julius Musau, is a church elder at Full Gospel Church of Kenya, Voi. Karibu sana, good to have you tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we're also delighted to have you on set in this particular discussion. Remember to also catch us live on our social media pages so that you can also interact with us. We'd like also to hear from you. What do you think about family conflicts and rivalry on our Facebook page? That is MBCI TV. And the shortcut platform, that is 23814. We want to promise you that we will be delighted to sample and also to listen from you as far as this particular conversation is concerned. And I'll just begin with you, Apostle. We're looking at family conflict and rivalry, but even before we look at maybe what are some of the causes, what is God's design and purpose as far as the unit of a family is concerned?
Well, I would say God is a family man, although for lack of a better word. But God, we know, is omnipotent, omnipresent, and he's all-knowing.
Sure.
So he's a great God. God is a family person. And family was started by God in the Garden of Eden.
Exactly.
Right now, even as we go along with this program here, there is a family in heaven. Of course, when you read in the book of Revelation, you talk of the 24 elders who bow before the Lord every night for 24 hours. So that is a family in heaven. Jesus, according to the scriptures, he is seated at the right hand of the Father. So they are together as a family. So the setup of God is a family. Even when the church will be raptured, it will be raptured now to join the Father, who is the overall of the family. So, as it is in heaven, so God would want it to be here on earth. And I believe, with all my heart, it's a good practice. We should practice living as a family. And that's why the Bible also commands and says very clearly that a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and the two shall be one. Okay? And that's how they begin the family. You know, when they come together, that union will also produce offsprings. And those offsprings, you know, composes the family. So it is a God setup, and therefore it should be maintained. Nobody should try to get rid of it anyway.
Sure.
Because what God has started, he also starts with a purpose, and a good purpose for that matter. We know where families are having conflict, and I believe we'll get into the details of that.
Sure.
We can see a lot of things going wrong. Also, if families are not stable, even in a nation, the whole nation becomes chaotic because there is no order. So once you have a family entity that is running properly, then of course even the nation itself will be at peace. Because when we have good families to begin with, they eventually translate into a stable nation, and then we become a bigger nation.
Wow. Wow.
I mean, a family nation called Kenya, and then we forge together as a family. So I think that's how I would like to put it.
Wow, wow,
from the knowledge that I have from the scriptures.
Great Apostle there. Such an explicit eye-opener there on God's design of a family. And let me just bring Minister Julius on this. What's your perspective on how God views family, and most is actually a small unit?
Okay. Thank you, Mengicho, for this opportunity. Once again, to my viewers, I want also to tell them that I am a minister, ministering under Bishop Philip Kamau, and I am Julius Musau, that is my name. The other thing about myself is that I'm a family man. I've been married for over 24 years now, and we are blessed with 3 children. So I want to concur with the Bishop Apostle Gichimu that actually family was instituted by God. It was begun by God. That is very true. And it is the will of God that a family remains stable. So there is the structure that God has given of the family in Ephesians. If we read Ephesians chapter 5 from verse 21 there, okay, particularly verse 23, it talks of the arrangement that the husband is the head of the wife, and Christ is the head of the church. So you see that order. So there is a order that needs to be maintained, and I want to put it clear that when this order is violated, actually that is the beginning of conflict and rivalry. So the wife has to submit, as the Bible puts, has to submit to the husband for harmony. The husband has to love the wife. Now, one of the biggest conflicts or causes of conflict, okay, I would say conflict is simply differences that arise because of not agreeing on a few things here and there, okay, in the family. Like, for example, the issue of management of money, okay, it becomes a big issue. The husband is not truthful to the wife when it comes to the issue of money. There are some cases where the wife has her own account and the husband cannot access it. The husband has also his own account which is not accessible to the wife, and that becomes a source of conflict, you know. But now see, God says that the two, okay, I'm speaking now about the Christian family. God intends that the two, when they come together, the man and the wife, the woman rather, they become one. So when that unity is not enhanced by submitting to the God-instituted authority, then conflicts arise. So when there is that maybe unfaithfulness when it comes to handling the issue of money, then it is a big source of the conflict. Okay. I've seen that. And then okay, because God intends that the two family the family actually remain one, united. Because when you look at just like Apostle has said, actually when a family is stable or families are stable, then we have a stable nation, and likewise we have a stable church, because a church is actually an institution which comprises of different and many families. So the stability of the family counts a lot as far as the stability of the church is concerned.
Wow, thank you so much, Minister Julius. I'll be coming back to you because you've actually brought out a very good point there, and maybe Apostle, you can also pick up on that particular point, whereby there is that particular order that actually can even be found in the Bible on how God intends a family to operate. Now, most of the families that we're even talking about, even in this particular discussion, that have been affected by these conflicts and maybe a rivalry, that even some of them have had very grave consequences, are right in the church. How comes these are Christians who know what is it that is supposed to be done, and yet they have abdicated some of these roles that they know they need actually to follow?
Yes, that is a tough one, Magicho. But I would like to put it this way.
Sure.
That there is no way we can deviate from God's order and then we claim to be okay.
That's true.
That cannot happen. So anybody who is in the church and he is defying God's order, then he is disobedient. God calls such a person a disobedient person.
That's true.
Because, you know, God is not in the business of negotiating with us. Should we agree on this? Should we not disagree? I mean, should we agree on this? Should we not? You know, God already has the order. So it is upon us to adapt. If we don't adapt, then we are rebellious.
That's true.
And things will definitely fall apart. Things cannot hold together as far as the families are concerned. You'll be shocked, Magicho, if I may tell you, having been a minister for quite a number of years, I can tell you, some people, yes, they are in the church, but they have inner wounds because of what happened in the family conflict. They are just there, just wearing a mask of smile, called smile, and showing the teeth, okay? But inside those people are really, really, really wounded. However, some of them, they realize things went wrong. And, you know, they take the courageous step of correcting what went wrong. And when they do so, we have seen reconciliations of families. Well, I have examples of families who parted 20 years ago, and now they are together and happily together. And that brings, you know, the healing. So although they are there, they may be there in the church congregation, but then inside they are languishing.
Sure.
Yes.
And Apostle, that's a very good point. And we need actually to disabuse that particular notion, Minister Julius, because we have so many of our people, and they already think, they already perceive that I can do well in church, I can serve very well, even if things are not going well back there at home. Is it really possible?
Well, that I would call that actually pretense. And there's no way you can go a long way with the pretense. You can pretend for a short while, but things will have to sort themselves out. Just like Apostle has said, actually, you cannot run away from God's order, because God sees even in the bedroom what happens, and in your house. He sees if you have maybe conflicted with your wife and you have come to serve in the church. God sees a hypocrite. You see that, and God cannot condone that. So what I can say actually is that actually true enough, and it's true what is happening today. There are a lot of conflicts in the Christian families, and the best way is to see how those conflicts can be handled and resolved for harmonious living and for breakthrough and sincere service to God. Otherwise, if we just pretend and assume things are well, we'll bury our heads in the sand and assume things are well and just continue serving God. It cannot go well with us as family people. Yes.
And we'll be coming back with much more on that particular area, and of course also Apostle, the issue of maybe things have changed, technology has changed, we are in postmodern times, and therefore maybe even some roles that maybe we used to know actually maybe changed. How is a Christian how is a family supposed to look into this particular issue? We'll get into that and much more. We're looking at family conflicts and rivalry tonight on Ask the Ministers of God. On set is Apostle Danny Gushimo, resident minister, and I'm also having Julius Musau, is a church elder at Full Gospel Church of Kenya, Voi. Thank you so much. Continue dropping a comment or two. You can also bring any question that you want tackled on this particular subject, and we'll be glad to look at them. We're taking a short breather. Don't go far away.